Court we go, where today Justice Neal here his first oral arguments as a member of the nation's top court. The petitions on the docket include a gun rights case out of California and a gay rights case out of Colorado. But a brewing battle over the separation of church and state in Missouri could position Gorsuch as the tie-breaking vote on just his first week on the bench. We want to bring in Judge Andrew Napolitano right now. He is Fox News senior judicial analyst. And, Judge, it's good to see you.
Oh, good morning,
So
Maria.
there's now a report that Justice Gorsuch may have to recuse himself. Tell us about it.
I don't know anything about recusal because there's no provision for Supreme Court justices to recuse themselves. So if I'm trying a case as a trial court judge and I have a financial interest in the outcome of the case, of course I can't be the judge. But if I'm a Supreme Court justice and I have some interest in the outcome of the case, there's no provision to remove me, and there's no option for the other 8 to remove him. So the justices often recuse themselves for the integrity of the court, because if you have an interest in the outcome, it doesn't look good. It doesn't appear just, and it would be better for history and for the way the court is perceived that you not be involved, but there's no requirement that you do so. The interesting case coming up on Wednesday is this freedom of religion case. And it comes out of Missouri, which has an amendment to its constitution that prohibits any financial aid to any religious institution, even secular aid, like a school bus or a playground. State of Missouri issues money for playgrounds for every playground in the state owned by any school, except if the school is owned by a religious organization. They sue the state of Missouri. They lose in the lower courts. It's now before the Supreme Court. 3 days before the case is to be heard, on Friday, the new governor of Missouri says, I'm going to change my mind. I think this school is entitled to their money. Now, the Supreme Court can only hear cases that are live, real cases. If there is a settlement on the way up the steps into the courthouse, the Supreme Court loses jurisdiction. So it may very well decide between today and Wednesday, you're going to get the money, there's no case, we're not going to hear it.
So why should Neal Gorsuch not be a part of this case?
There's no reason why he should not be a part of this case. He has written extensively on religious freedom, and traditionalists who applauded his nomination were looking forward to his weighing in on this. He may never get a chance to weigh in on it, not because of any personal recusal, but because the court probably won't hear it if it is resolved before Wednesday. There have been cases, Kevin, that where oral argument has been made, and on the way out of the courthouse, the 2 lawyers settled the case. What happens to the case in the Supreme Court? It's gone. The Supreme Court loses jurisdiction because the Constitution says the federal courts can only hear real cases and controversies, not ones that have just been settled.
But isn't this case supposed to be sort of an entryway into a larger conversation about school choice and state funding for schools outside of state schools? I mean, there's kind of a bigger story here that you might lose if this case isn't heard.
That's a great observation, Brian. There is often a bigger story because if this case went, let's say they hear the case, it's not settled, and it goes in favor of the school. If the state gives money to everybody, they can't exempt schools. There is likely to be language in that opinion which can be extrapolated into other similar situations in which religious entities can knock on the door of the state and look for some aid, as long as the aid doesn't go to the religious part of the religious entity, but to the secular part, like the safety of a playground.
Funny that Justice Gorsuch is also going to be subject to so-called junior justice duties. As the newest member of the court, Justice Elena Kagan saying that her time as junior justice, quote, literally, if there is a knock on the door and I don't hear it, there will not be a single other person who will move. They'll just all stare at me until I figure out, oh, I guess somebody knocked at the door. I'm going to have to get it. This is not the worst of it, is it, Judge?
No, this is not the worst of it. In thinking about this, I was thinking about
Sounds like a fraternity.
Justice Scalia, who came on in 1986. I can't imagine him answering the knock at the door and getting coffee for his colleagues. I know he installed an espresso machine when he arrived. So Justice Gorsuch, when the 9 of them are in a room, there is literally nobody else there. There aren't even clerks in that room. This is when they're deciding whether or not to take cases and how to resolve cases they've already agreed to take. Somebody knocks at the door. It could be janitor, or it could be a clerk, it could be saying the president's calling, whatever it is, the junior justice.
Here's the main question. Is the Chief Justice exempt? So in 2005, when she's Justice Roberts there, if you're Chief Justice and you're the junior member, are you the one picking up the door?
No, the Chief Justice is never the junior member, and he's always exempt.
All right, there you go.
And in a court that writes everything down, this is all unwritten. It's all just tradition.
That's very cute. Judge, great to see you.
Pleasure, guys.
Thank you so much. Andrew Napolitano there.